From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.
Good day. Radio Pilipinas World Service can also be heard on shortwave broadcast through the shortwave facilities of the United States Agency for Global Media or Voice of America on the following shortwave frequencies: 15.640 MHz, 17.750 MHz, and 21.720 MHz. I'm your host, Leo Magpayo, and this is Dateline Malacañang in Review. Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Monday opened the 833.37 million peso Mabini Kayakay Small Reservoir Irrigation Project or SRIP in Bohol, a major facility designed to deliver a steady, year-round water supply to 530 hectares of farmland and boost crop production in the province. The National Irrigation Administration or NIA implemented project is set to benefit 717 farmers across the municipalities of Mabini and Alicia. Speaking in Barangay Abaca, the President said the new reservoir is part of the administration's broader push to protect farmers from climate change and erratic rainfall. The irrigation system will serve farmers in barangays Abaca, San Roque, Agipo, and Cabidian in Mabini, as well as Barangay Kayakay in Alicia. President Marcos noted that the project fulfills a commitment he made during an earlier visit to Bohol, adding that construction was completed in November 2025. According to the President, the facility is expected to significantly raise agricultural output by ensuring sufficient water for rice and high-value crops. With reliable irrigation, farmers may be able to increase planting cycles from 2 to as many as 3 per year. The chief executive also highlighted other ongoing irrigation initiatives in the province, including the Bonot Bonot Irrigation Project in Buena Vista and the Hibale Irrigation Project in Danao, underscoring the administration's continuing efforts to strengthen food security and agricultural productivity in Bohol.
Ito ay isa sa ating mga mahalagang hakbang upang tulungan ang mga magsasakang matagal nang umaasa lamang sa ulan upang magpalago ang kanilang mga pananim. Kapag pabago-bago ang panahon, matagal ang tagtuyot o kulang ang ulan, kayo ang naapektuhan. At higit pa rito, mas pinalala pa ng pagbabago ng klima ang inyong mga panganib at pangamba. Ayon sa ating datos, malaki ang posibilidad na makakaranas ang bansa ng matinding El Nino na maaring tumagal hanggang sa susunod pa na taon, 2027. Kaya't sa ilalim ng administrasyon, ating itinaguyod ang mga SRP, mga small irrigation project na ganito, kabilang nito, sa Mabini Kayakay, upang mapataas ang kita ng ating mga magsasaka at maging mas matatag naman ang labuan sa sakuna. Halos 2 taon na ang nakalipas mula nang magpunta ako sa Bohol upang maghatid ng tulong sa ating mga magsasaka at mga mangingisda. Sa aking talumpati noon, ibinahagi kong malapit nang matapos ang Mabini Kayakay na irrigation project. Ang aking muling pagbisita ngayon ay patunay sa ating pangakong natupad sapagkat natapos na rin natin atong Mabini Kayakay Strip noong nakaraang Nobyembre. Sa pamamagitan ng proyektong ito, masusuportahan ang irigasyon sa 530 hektarya na sakahan sa 5 barangay sa Mabini at Alicia dito sa Bohol. Dahil sa sapat na supply ng tubig, inaasahan nating tataas ang ani lalo na ng palay at mga high-value vegetable crops.
As Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
Also on Monday, Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. led the launch of the country's second Walang Gutom Kitchen, reaffirming his administration's commitment to ensure that no Filipino goes hungry. Joined by Social Welfare Secretary Rex Gatchalian, the President toured the Cebu City facility, observed kitchen operations, helped distribute meals, and spoke with beneficiaries and local officials. The Cebu Hub is the second Walang Gutom kitchen in the Philippines, following the opening of the first site in Pasay City in December of 2024. Operated by the Department of Social Welfare and Development or DSWD, the kitchen functions as a community-based food bank that provides free, nutritious breakfast and lunch to identified beneficiaries and walk-in clients experiencing involuntary hunger. Breakfast starts at 6 in the morning while lunch service begins at 11 in the morning. The facility also serves as a comprehensive community service hub, offering immediate food assistance to homeless individuals and other vulnerable groups. The Walang Gutom Kitchen is a key component of the broader Walang Gutom Program or WGP, the administration's flagship anti-hunger initiative launched in 2023 and institutionalized through Executive Order number 44 in 2024. The program was created under the President's directive to address food insecurity and reduce hunger among low-income families. A measure is currently pending in the House of Representatives seeking to institutionalize the WGP as a permanent national program aimed at reducing hunger, supporting poor households, and strengthening local agricultural production. President Marcos said the Cebu facility demonstrates the government's continuing effort to expand access to nutritious meals and build a nationwide network of community kitchens.
Ito yung pangalawang pinuntahan natin na feeding program, walang gutom program. Pangalawa ito. At sa itong ganitong klaseng center ay nakakapagpakain tayo ng mga 200. At pwedeng balik-balikan hanggat maubos yung pagkain, pwede silang pabalik-balik dito dahil walang problema. Ang ginagawang sistema, pagpasok dito, i-register sila, nagkakaroon sila ng ID at para malaman din namin kung sino yung mga hindi talaga madalas kumain para mabigyan natin ng tulong. So patuloy lang ito, walang gutom program. At marami namang nagpapasalamat kami sa ating mga partner na sa yung Hotel Association, tapos yung mga Restaurant Association na nagbibigay din, nagdo-donate sila ng pagkain para sa ating walang gutom program. Ito yung pangalawa, after this will be Zamboanga. Sa Zamboanga naman natin na ibubuo ito. So patuloy lang ito, lalong-lalo na ngayon na tumataas ang presyo ng pagkain dahil sa pagtaas ng presyo ng langis. So abangan, tapos patuloy lang kami na tuloy-tuloy na magsusuporta at sana ay mabawasan na yung nagugutom at sana dumating ang araw na wala nang gutom na Pilipino. Yun naman talaga ang aking pangarap para sa atin.
President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
Still on Monday, Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. inspected the newly rehabilitated portion of Segment 3A of the Metro Cebu Expressway or MCE in Naga City, expressing confidence that the long-damaged road section will finally ease travel and boost economic activity in southern Cebu. The President was joined by Public Works Secretary Vince Dizon, Cebu Governor Pamela Baricuatro, and Trade Secretary Cristina Roque during the site visit in Barangay Cantauan, the same area where a major slope collapse in October 2023 halted construction and raised safety concerns. President Marcos recalled that the landslide had rendered the road impassable, forcing workers and residents to walk through the affected stretch. The President said motorists may now use the rehabilitated section, although additional engineering works remain underway to ensure the long-term stability. The rehabilitation includes slope stabilization, drainage upgrades, and creek rehabilitation, measures intended to strengthen the corridor against landslides and other climate-related hazards. Once fully completed, travel time between Barangay Pangdan and the Naga Valley Industrial Park is expected to drop from 25 minutes to just 10 minutes, improving mobility for workers, students, and businesses. President Marcos stressed the importance of the expressway to industries operating in southern Cebu, particularly manufacturers that rely on efficient logistics. Segment 3A spans 4.55 kilometers of the 56.94-kilometer Metro Cebu Expressway, a major north-south road network linking Naga City to Danao City. The chief executive added that another expressway section, heavily used by investors, is also under construction and is targeted for completion within the year. He said the project has been expanded from a 2-lane to a 4-lane design to accommodate rising traffic and support Cebu's growing economy. The government expects the expressway to accelerate the movement of goods and services, improve access for communities, and open more economic opportunities across southern Cebu.
Nandito tayo sa isang section ng Metro Cebu Expressway na nasira 2 years ago, noong 2024. At landslide dito, nasira yung daan. At yung empleyado nung planta dito ay kailangan maglakad kahit na umuulan, kahit na ganito mainit, hindi magamit yung daan. So finally, pinangako natin na matatapos ito by June. Ito na ngayon tayo para tignan at inspeksyonin. It is almost finished. We have about 30%. 30+%.
Actually, madadaanan na po today.
Pwede na magamit ito.
After mo pong
Sige. Kasi bagay, it looks like it's usable. Pero hindi pa tapos. Ang gagawin pa, ilalagyan ng slope protection ito para hindi naguguhulit. At yan ang naging problema. Yun, wala na, nabutas na, tanggal na, nawala yung daan. Kaya linipat yung kalsada, palayo doon sa bangin. At yung bangin, dinalagyan ngayon ng slope protection para hindi na maulit yung pagguho. But malaking bagay ito because napakasama nung daan noon na yung ginagawa ng kanilang planta, yung lente na sa telepono. Itong lente dito sa telepono. Yan yung ginagawa nila dito. Dahil sa pagkalubak, itong produkto nila, pag dumadaan dito sa daan na ito, nababasag. Nababasag yung lente na kanilang ginawa. Kaya napakasayang naman. At nakakahiya sa ating mga investor na hindi natin sila inaalagaan na mabuti. Kaya inayos natin kaagad. So, good. At may isa pang daan, there's another section na dito, papunta rin, ginagamit din nila. That will be finished within a year from now. So, patuloy lang ang ating ginagawa. At dapat 2 lanes lang ito eh. Pero pinaspas natin, kaya nangyari, na 24/7, nakagawa tayo ng 4 lanes. Kahit na may mangyari dito sa pagguho dito, pag masara ito, meron pa rin tayong 2 lanes. Kaya medyo mas maganda ngayon ang sitwasyon.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Monday inspected ongoing rehabilitation efforts along the Mananga River in Talisay City, Cebu, as the government ramps up interventions under its Oplan Kontra Baha program to reduce flood risks in the province. During his visit to Barangay San Isidro, the president spoke with residents living near the riverbanks and noted visible improvements in flood control structures and drainage systems following recent severe flooding. President Marcos said engineers have modified portions of the river system to slow down water flow and improve drainage capacity, ensuring floodwaters can exit more efficiently instead of stagnating during heavy rains. The chief executive also highlighted the continuing relocation of families previously residing in designated no-build zones in coordination with local governments. President Marcos said the government will sustain river rehabilitation and structural flood control works to prevent a repeat of the destructive flooding that recently hit communities and damaged infrastructure in the area. These include long-term engineering solutions such as slope protection, riverbank stabilization, and improved drainage networks designed to withstand extreme weather events. President Marcos Jr. emphasized that the Mananga River rehabilitation is part of a broader nationwide effort to strengthen climate resilience and protect vulnerable communities.
Yung mga dam projects, kung maalala niyo, tatlo ang malaking ilog dito sa Cebu. At kaya yung pag bumaba ang tubig, doon galing ang baha, doon sa tatlong ilog na yon. Meron na tayong plano para maglagay ng dam sa taas. Dito sa Mananga River is a 70 meter dam. At ito ay ilalagay na namin, nasa NEP na para sa budget for next year, for 2027. Naka-budget na, titiyakin natin na hindi magagalaw yung budget na yung pagdaan sa budget process. So patuloy lang ang ginagawa natin para hindi na maulit yung napakalaking perwisyo nung pagdaan ng bagyo, ng Tino, at saka nung pagdaan nung baha dito at daming nasira. So patuloy lang, and we will continue to come, we will continue to build, we will continue to repair, and may plano tayo para sa next year para doon na natin haharangin sa taas yung tubig para hindi na natin masyadong problemahin dito sa baba.
As Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
Malacañang says President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. is open to proposals that would restrict or ban violent online games following the deadly school shooting at San Jose National High School in Tacloban City. In a Palace briefing, Palace Press Officer Undersecretary Claire Castro said the matter was discussed after reports indicated that one of the minors involved in the shooting frequently played a violent online game. Castro said the administration is receptive to legislative measures that would regulate minors' access to violent online content. She added that lawmakers may immediately study possible restrictions in response to the recent incident. The Palace statement came after the Cybercrime Investigation and Coordinating Center, or CICC, ordered the temporary blocking of the online game Gorebox while authorities conduct an investigation. According to the CICC, the precautionary move was based on initial police findings that one of the students involved in the attack regularly played the game. However, authorities emphasized that investigators have not established a direct connection between the game and the shooting, noting that the investigation remains ongoing.
Napag-usapan po na yung mga ganong klaseng app ay dapat na maban sa Pilipinas. So maganda pong mungkahiyan at sana makagawa agad ng batas at open po ang Pangulo sa ganyang mga panukala. Sa tingin po natin, kahit hindi na po kausapin ng mga mababatas dahil sa nangyari pong ito, ay mabilisan din sila magbabalangkas ng batas para po maisakatuparan ito.
Was Palace Press Officer Undersecretary Claire Castro.
Dateline Malacañang.
Malacañang has raised questions over efforts to exclude key documents, including statements of assets, liabilities, and net worth or SALNs, from evidence in the impeachment proceedings against Vice President Sara Duterte. In a palace briefing, Palace Press Officer Claire Castro said the SALNs appear to be central to the impeachment complaint, particularly in relation to allegations of unexplained wealth. Castro added that removing such documents from the case could weaken efforts to establish transparency and accountability.
Sa ating pagkakaalam, ito yung pinaka-core. Ito yung pinaka-meat ng kaso, ng complaint laban sa kanya tungkol sa di umanong unexplained wealth. So, kung pinapatanggal niya ito, papaano niyang maipapakita sa bayan na siya ay tuwid at malinis at walang unexplained wealth?
Official, however, clarified that Malacañang will not interfere in the Senate's impeachment proceedings, stressing that the chamber must be allowed to carry out its constitutional role independently. Castro also emphasized the importance of complete documentation and verifiable records in government reporting, citing Commission and Audit findings on certain Office of the Vice President programs. She said COA had flagged issues such as missing supporting documents, incomplete beneficiary lists, and the absence of reports needed to validate the distribution of government assistance. Castro also pointed to past concerns involving so-called ghost beneficiaries and undocumented aid distribution, underscoring the need for proper auditing and accountability. She added that accomplishment reports must be backed by complete evidence, not just numerical claims, to ensure transparency in public service.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine First Lady Liza Araneta Marcos returned to Quezon City Wednesday to continue the government's Mula sa Puso para sa Pamilya rice distribution drive. On its third straight day, the program made its latest stop in Barangay Bagong Pag-asa, where residents, undeterred by the rainy weather, warmly welcomed the First Lady as she delivered a message of support and compassion. Speaking before beneficiaries, the First Lady said that as a mother, she understands the importance of having enough food on every family's table. She expressed hope that the 10 kilos of rice distributed would help ease the daily worries of households facing financial strain. More than 1,300 residents received free rice, including senior citizens, solo parents, 4-piece beneficiaries, and other members of the vulnerable sector. The First Lady also took time to speak with several beneficiaries, checking on their well-being and listening to their concerns. In total, around 210,000 Quezon City residents are set to receive free rice across 4 tranches under the Local Government Support Fund, part of the administration's broader effort to ensure that no family is left behind.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. paid tribute on Thursday to Filipino seafarers, recognizing their vital role in sustaining global trade and supporting millions of families, even as they face growing risk from geopolitical tensions affecting major shipping routes. In his message for the 2026 Day of the Seafarer, the President highlighted the contribution of Filipino mariners to the movement of people, goods, and economies worldwide. He noted that their work keeps international supply chains functioning and strengthens the country's economy through remittances and overseas employment. This year's theme, Carrying World Trade, Carrying the Risks, underscores the challenges confronting seafarers as conflicts and instability continue to disrupt maritime corridors, including those in the Middle East. The President emphasized that Filipino seafarers continue to perform their duties despite heightened security concerns in these areas. President Marcos also acknowledged the sacrifices of seafarers' families, many of whom endure long periods of separation while their loved ones work at sea. The Day of the Seafarer, observed every June 25th, is an annual International Maritime Organization initiative recognizing the global contribution of maritime workers. The observance was established through a 2010 resolution adopted in Manila that amended the Standards of Training, Certification, and Watchkeeping or STCW Convention. The Philippines remains one of the world's top sources of maritime labor, with Filipinos accounting for nearly a quarter of the global seafaring workforce. President Marcos Jr. said the government, through the Department of Migrant Workers and maritime industry partners, is strengthening measures to protect the rights, safety, and welfare of Filipino seafarers. He also underscored the need to equip them with updated skills as the maritime sector adapts to rapid technological changes and evolving international standards.
I extend my warmest greetings to all Filipino seafarers around the world as we celebrate the International Day of the Seafarer. Every day, across the world's oceans and maritime corridors, Filipino seafarers perform vital work that promotes the movement of people and keeps global trade moving and economies connected. With great skill and dedication, they ensure that passengers and economically important goods reach their destinations safely, while supporting the livelihoods of millions of Filipino families. This year's theme, Carrying World Trade, Carrying the Risks, recognizes the realities faced by those who serve at sea. Amidst geopolitical tensions and uncertainties affecting international shipping, our seafarers continue to carry out their duties with courage and resolve that reach beyond the vessels that they serve. Your contributions help strengthen the Philippine economy and uphold the reputation of the Filipino worker across the world. We likewise recognize the families who stand behind every seafarer. Their unwavering support makes possible the invaluable service that our mariners render far from home. As the maritime industry continues to evolve through technological innovation and changing global standards, we must ensure that Filipino seafarers remain equipped with the knowledge and the skills necessary to thrive in a rapidly changing world. Together with the Department of Migrant Workers and our partners in the maritime sector, the government continues to strengthen measures that safeguard the rights, safety, and well-being of Filipino seafarers. On this International Day of the Seafarer, we honor your service, recognize your sacrifices, and express our gratitude for all that you do for our country.
That's Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. extended the Philippines' condolences to Venezuela after a series of powerful earthquakes left dozens dead and hundreds injured. In a message posted Thursday, the president said he was deeply saddened by the destruction caused by the twin quakes and joined the international community in expressing concern for the Venezuelan people. President Marcos conveyed the Filipino nation's sympathies. The chief executive assured Venezuela of the Philippines' support as communities struggle with the aftermath of the disaster, adding that the country stands in solidarity with the Venezuelan people during this difficult time and hopes for the swift recovery of affected areas. Venezuela was struck Wednesday by a magnitude 7.2 earthquake near the city of Moron, followed just a minute later by a stronger magnitude 7.5 tremor. The quakes caused severe damage, including in the capital, Caracas. Authorities report at least 188 fatalities and more than 1,500 people injured as rescue and recovery operations continue.
Dateline Malacañang.
Also on Thursday, Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. said direct funding for local governments has improved project delivery and strengthened accountability at the community level. Speaking at the launch of the Bawat Bayan Makikinabang program in Coronadal City, President Marcos said reforms in the Local Government Support Fund, or LGSF, now allow resources to go straight to mayors and governors, removing discretionary bottlenecks that once limited access to national funds. The president said local government units, or LGUs, are better positioned to identify local needs and are directly answerable to the public if projects fall short. He added that closer coordination between national agencies and LGUs has led to faster, more responsive service delivery. During the event, the chief executive turned over 40 million pesos in Socio-Civic Projects Fund assistance to South Cotabato and 96 million pesos to Cotabato Province. President Marcos also met with scholars, barangay officials, and local leaders.
Kaya't ang ginawa po natin, ang LGSF, at dinerecho na po natin sa ating mga gobernador, sa ating mga mayor, para meron silang magamit para sa mga kanilang mga inisyatibo. Kasama po dyan sa proyekto yan, yung ating ibinibigay na bigas, na tigsa 10 kilo na sako ng bigas para sa mga nangangailangan ng tulong dahil hindi sila nakakatiyak sa kanilang pagkain sa araw-araw. Yan po ang aming inuna. Yung pong listahan na yun, kung sino ang mabibigyan ng Local Government Support Fund, sino ang sino ang mabibigyan ng bigas, ay kinuha po natin sa mga mayor, kinuha po natin sa mga barangay chairman at sa mga gobernador upang matiyak na, kasi kung idadaan po natin sa national government ulit, alam nyo naman pagka dumaan sa national, magpapadala pa kami ng tao, mag-a-assess sila, mag-i-interview sila, napakatagal. Sabi ko nga, nang naging karanasan ko bilang gobernador, sabi, hindi nyo na kailangan mag-assess. In-assess na namin yan sa local. Alam na namin yan. Nasa file na namin. Araw-araw namin tinitingnan yung file na yan. Kaya hingiin nyo na lang sa local government. Yun ang aming ginawa. Binigay na lang namin yung pondo sa local government. At sabi ko sa kanila, kayo na ang bahala. Kayo na ang bahala dahil ako'y nakakatiyak. At sabi ko naman, mas nakakasiguro ako na hindi magiging kagaya ng mga flood control na alanganin. Dahil ang mga local government, pag hindi magandang trabaho, sisitahin ninyo lahat. Pupuntahan kayo, kakatukin kayo sa bahay ninyo, at sasabihin bakit yung project ninyo walang kwenta. Yun ang safety, kaya malakas ang loob ko na magbigay sa ating mga local government. Dahil alam ko na nakabantay ang taong bayan, at alam ko naman, ang mga local government ay talagang tapat sa kanilang serbisyo sa tao.
Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
Still on Thursday, Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. visited Sultan Kudarat to meet farmers still struggling after the 2021 rains destroyed the Antong Dam and cut off irrigation. He said the disaster, along with a high chance of El Nino, prompted him to order the Department of Agriculture and National Irrigation Administration or NIA to accelerate irrigation projects nationwide. The president led the opening of the rehabilitated Antong Dam, which now restores water flow through its reactivated West Gate. The project will irrigate 1,563 hectares immediately, with 700 more to follow once new canals are completed, helping revive rice, corn, and vegetable production and restore two cropping cycles. President Marcos also highlighted a newly built NIA footbridge, added after engineers saw how many residents and students crossed the creek daily. The chief executive said the dam's rehabilitation reflects the government's commitment to protect farmers, strengthen agriculture, and prepare communities for future climate risks.
Ngayon naman ay sinasabihan po tayo noong ating na binibigay sa ating mga datos na meron tayong hinaharap na mga sabi nila siyam na po 90% ang possibility na magkakaroon po tayo ng El Nino. Kaya't ibig sabihin, pagka nangyari uli yan, harap na naman tayo sa tagtuyot. At balik na naman tayo sa dating problema. Kaya sinabi ko sa Department of Agriculture, sinabi ko sa NIA, ay bilisan na ninyo ang pagpatayo ng ating mga irrigation system. Kagaya po ng sabi ni Eddie Guillen, wala po, hindi lang po ito. Lahat sa buong Pilipinas nagtatayo po tayo ng ganito upang ang mga magsasaka ay mas maganda ang magiging ani. At yung ibang lugar na 2 beses lang nagtatanim sa isang taon, nakakapag-3 na planting na. Kaya't napakalaking bagay yon, hindi lamang para sa hanap buhay ng ating mga magsasaka, kundi pati rin para sa food supply ng ating mga kababayan. Kailangan mas mabilis, mas malawak at mas matibay pa ang pagtayo ng mga dam ng irigasyon upang mapalakas ang agrikultura at makamit ang sapat na supply ng pagkain sa ating mga kababayan. Kaya nandito po ako ngayon, nandito po tayong lahat upang formal na buksan ang ang rehabilitation project ng Antong Dam at masimulaan na natin. Kaya yung po ang ginawa namin, binuksan na po namin yung waste gate para dumaloy na ang tubig. Mayroong higit sa 1,500 na ektarya ang nalupang sakahan ang mapapatubigan nito. At kagaya ng nabanggit, mayroon pang expansion, magtatayo pa ng kanal na ilang kilometro na ilalagay pa na kanal. Mga ganun, para sa karagdagan 700 hectares na papatubigan. Magkakaroon ng sapat na supply ng tubig. Mapapataas natin ang produksyon ng palay, ng saging, ng pakwan, gulay, mais, at iba't ibang mga pananim. Ang pinakamahalaga sa lahat ay maibalik na natin ang dating 2 beses na pagtanim kada taon. Ngayon, meron na tayong maasahan na patubig sa inyong mga sakahan. Dahil sa mga maraming residente at mag-aaral dito ay kailangan tumawid at dumadaan dito, sinama na rin nila itong tulay. Wala po sa project yan. Nung una namin nakita yung project, wala pong pinag-uusapan na tulay. Nagulat nga ako, pagdating ko rito, may tulay na eh. Dahil inisyatibo na lang ng NIA yan at ginawa nila. At isa na sa pinakamagandang footbridge ito na nakita ko sa buong Pilipinas.
Was Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Malacañang.
And finally, Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. says the 13-story mega hemodialysis legacy building at the National Kidney and Transplant Institute, or NKTI, is on track to open by early 2028. During an inspection in Quezon City, the President reported steady progress on the project, which is designed to serve Filipinos with chronic kidney disease, a condition affecting more than 11% of the population. Equipment installation is expected to begin in early 2027, with full operations targeted a year later. The facility will house 200 advanced hemodialysis machines and offer comprehensive chronic kidney disease, or CKD services. Phase 1, covering the ground to 4th floors, was completed in July 2025. As of June 24, 2026, Phase 2, the 5th and 6th floors, was 70.5% complete. Overall completion is set for March 2028. The center is projected to become the largest dialysis facility in Southeast Asia. President Marcos also highlighted expanded PhilHealth benefits, including the increase in covered dialysis sessions from 90 to 150 per year and higher benefit packages for both hemodialysis and peritoneal dialysis. The chief executive said the government continues to explore ways to prevent CKD nationwide. There are currently 904 dialysis centers operating across the country.
Dateline Malacañang.
Before we conclude our program, Radyo Pilipinas World Service of the Presidential Broadcast Service can be heard over the following shortwave frequencies: 15.640 MHz, 17.750 MHz, and 21.720 MHz. Radyo Pilipinas World Service is also live on audio streaming. Just download Evox PBS Receiver on your Google Play Store or the App Store from your Apple phone. You can also visit our Facebook page and YouTube channel. Just type in and search for Radyo Pilipinas World Service. Kindly subscribe, like, and share our posts as well. And that concludes this edition of Dateline Malacañang in Review. For Radyo Pilipinas World Service, this is Leo Magpayo. Good day and stay safe.
From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.